Just a complete win, team win. We knew it was going to be a dogfight coming in here. At halftime, we've been in that situation so much that at halftime we weren't happy. We were more so like, make sure we prepare for the second half. And, I thought we did a good job, came out and scored. And then our defense kind of took over the game at the end. Just so happy for this team, proud of this team. Obviously, big win on the road, and we needed it bad.
Oh, they did need it bad. The Arizona Cardinals go into Big D and shut Jera's big mouth, at least for one night. 27-17, a really complete effort for Arizona, ending a 5-game losing streak and really muting any optimism out of the headquarters of America's team. Dan Hanzus here with Marc Sessler, Justin Graver on the ones and twos. It's the Monday night show. It's the Monday Night Football recap. It's the Power Rankings episode. It's the news rundown. It's everything, Mark, anybody could ever want from a football program at this moment, right here, right now.
It is, and especially if you're a Cardinals fan, it's the right here and right now that you've been waiting for, because as someone who's talked this team up for years on end, to only failed results, this was the game that kind of looked like what you were hoping they could be. It leaves you with a couple impressions because, number one, you get an incredible first half from Marvin Harrison Jr., and it was like, cool, we've been waiting for that. The defense showed up. We've been waiting for that, Jonathan Gannon's defense. And you got good quarterback play from Jacoby Brissett, which leaves me, Dan, with a question that's like,
ooh, slice me off a piece
it's the
of that
Arizona Cardinals,
Jake
and it's not the biggest thing on the planet, but like,
I can't believe the layout for the Jake Brisket drop there. This is a big night for Jake.
It was a huge night for him, and if we want to play that again, I can.
Yeah, let's lay out. Let's lay out for the Brisket drop. Our friend Frags with the Fox.
Ooh, slice me off a piece of that Jake Brisket.
She recorded that like 15 years ago, by the way.
It was about 15 years ago. It was.
Go on, Mark.
No, and we believed in him then. But it's, everywhere he goes, they mentioned that his last, he had been on the Browns 4 teams ago. And I remember when he was on Cleveland that Kevin Stefanski called him the best teammate in the locker room. And everywhere he goes, people seem to feel that way about him. And I just wonder if it raises a question, if you're the Arizona Cardinals, why are Kyler Murray seems done after this season, and not to be an alarmist, but it's like, do you just keep rolling with Jacoby Brissett because he seems as capable, functional, and connected with the rest of the pieces of this offense? I wouldn't change anything. I'd keep going.
Well, let me ask you this, Mark. If you're Jonathan Gannon, do you like being employed as a head coach in the NFL, or do you not like being employed as a head coach in the NFL?
I would like to be.
So the only decision is to keep Jacoby Brissett in the starting lineup. I mean, there are complications to this situation. 2 complications: Kyler Murray's draft pedigree, a number 1 overall pick, and his contract, which when he signed it was, put him in the upper stratosphere for quarterbacks in football. And he only signed it a couple of years ago. And yet it is exceedingly clear, I think, to anybody who watches the Cardinals, that this was an organization stuck in the mud with Murray as the ostensible leader. And this injury that he suffered that opened the door up for Jake Brisket, which we all know that Jacoby Brissett has limitations, but he's always, and the reason why we cut that drop all those years ago on ATN was because he was always capable and he was always prepared, and he would always give you a steady, workmanlike, professional effort. And then you have a situation like this where it's not totally dissimilar to the Flacco situation in Cincinnati right now, right? Where it's like you take a veteran quarterback who's always kind of drifted in and out of the shadows, you put him with a team that has some playmakers that's underachieving, and you now all of a sudden have a quarterback who knows how to run an offense and has the respect of the locker room, and all of a sudden Marvin Harrison Jr. is being targeted like he should be, and Trey McBride is scoring touchdowns for the first time ever. And when those are the two most important players on the offense, and now they're thriving, you don't take the quarterback out that's allowing it to happen. Like, it seems like a no-brainer. And we texting with Zumwalt a little bit during the game. I feel like the only way Kyler Murray is in the lineup for the next Cardinals game is if Bidwill, the owner, comes down and says, no, play the guy that I'm paying. Because if this is about who makes the Cardinals a better team, I think Brisket has showed it the last few weeks.
I think you're right. But you mentioned it. It's a complex decision because, like, from an organizational angle, it's a massive, like, fork in the road if we bench Kyler Murray. I mean, it's weird that the trade deadline occurs tomorrow because it's not that I even looked around, like, is there any team would even be interested in Kyler Murray? It's like, I couldn't find one. Like, I just couldn't find one that would make that decision right now. So it's like, he's on your roster. You got to deal with this situation. He's probably not the easiest person to have in your quarterback room if he's not the starter. But yeah, I think if you're Jonathan Gannon, like, don't toy with what worked tonight. On the road, a big road victory. Again, they've lost like 5 straight before tonight by like 14 points or something. They're close. I get that they're frustrating and annoying, and to you, and even when I entered the chat with Jason Zumwalt, he was very annoyed that I suggested that they were even.
Well, let's look at the exact text that you sent, because I think,
right,
as a non-Cardinals fan, there's a little bit of a Mark exhaustion with his Cardinals takes, but for a Cardinals fan, it seems like downright evil. Let's be real. I think you said here's the Marc Sessler text. There's actually more text than I realized. Oh, feelings for a certain NFL team forming again. I replied, emotionally abusive. This is exactly the type of boyfriend or girlfriend that you need to avoid when you're in your 20s, and of our younger listeners. And then Zumwalt pipes in, I will effing kill you, please. Like, look, it's please, exclamation point, stop. Like, please stop. Just let the Cardinals be, Mark. You've come and gone so many times that I don't think at a certain point you walking in that door helps anyone but you. I think you just got to let the Cardinals live their life at this point.
So I just got to stare at a text thread forming and bubbling and growing, and I'm not allowed to participate in it. That's how it works.
No,
in my friend groups, I can't text. I must say nothing.
You can
communicate.
acknowledge, I would imagine, that you've had a very come and go relationship with this Cardinals team, where you get behind them, they burn you, you run away, they have a good game like tonight, all of a sudden you're right back in. There are people like this that you want to avoid when it comes to relationships. And I just don't think that's who you are. But I think with the Cardinals, it is who you are, if that makes sense.
I think it's kind of like when you go
You're
away
a toxic
to college.
Figure.
You go away to college and you come back and you have that first party with all the people from your high school class, and like you just have the random hookup with someone that like you kind of always thought it would happen, then it happens, and that was me and the Cardinals tonight. We had a nice little night, and like
no, that's not what this is at all. This would be you. You met the Cardinals at a bar, you knocked them up, and then they said they loved you, and then you moved across the country, and then they gave up the baby for adoption, and then you came back and you said, maybe we can make this work, so they went and got the baby back, and then you said, actually, never mind, and now the baby's lost again, and now you've come back again and say, hey, you single? Like, that's what this is. This is.
You know the other thing in the screenshot, if you're watching on YouTube, the screenshot, that's your phone, obviously, that you screenshotted for Justin to look at. The photo of me, which is like 12 to 13 years old at this point.
It's an iconic photo of you.
I'll
get the blown up version of it.
It was
Justin.
Late at night, and we went to one of our old taverns, and I looked like a complete and total disaster.
That is at the famous Culver City hole in the wall, Lost and Found.
Yeah.
And if anyone's been there, yes, many are lost, not many are found at Lost and Found. Although it does promote itself as dinner and dancing, I think, or drinks and dancing.
Yeah, I think it's like I don't recall any dinners happening there.
Yeah, there's no dinners and there's no dancing. But that was a late night, and it's supposed in front of a sensual rendering of a nude woman from it looks like the previous century, which I said, this is a nice shot to get, Mark in front of. Now, are there elements of the night that might have been hazy for the subject of the photo? Yes, but it was a great photo, and I'll hunt it down for the audience to fully enjoy.
I don't need the audience to see a.
Well, you brought it up. It's too late now.
I don't need them to see a zoomed-in portion of it. But
do we want to talk about Jera, by the way? So good job by the Cardinals, Mark.
Yes.
Just let them move on with their lives. And leave Jake Brisket in the lineup and keep throwing the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. And I even like the running back who dropped the ball. He had a nice game and had a heady play where he slid down out of bounds there or inbounds to keep the clock running. So that was nice, Mark. Mercado, it was just, and the pass rush getting home and ending the game with the sacks and the fumbles and the interceptions. Great night for the Cardinals. Okay, and let's see if they can build on it. They're 3-5. The Cowboys are unbelievable. I mean, and I locked up the Cowboys, by the way. And it's like, I remember Bill Simmons used to have, or he still has it, I guess. He had his gambling manifesto, and he would add things to it to help him with his wagers or whatever. And I think with the locks, if there was a locks manifesto, I think in general, never lock the Dallas Cowboys. It could be one, a blanket one, but never lock a team with a shithouse defense. Like a team that has a truly bad defense. We're talking bottom of the league, arguably worst defense in the league, if not bottom 3. These nights can always happen where the defense can't get a stop, and then you're putting a lot of pressure on the offense to carry the day. And if the offense isn't having their best day, and they weren't in this game, then the game can get away from you. So the fact that this game is 27-17 doesn't even truly tell the story of how badly the Cardinals outplayed this Cowboys team at home in a big game with playoff ramifications. There was a block punt for a touchdown for the Cowboys in the second quarter. If you take that out of the game, this is a borderline blowout. So, I've been positive about Dallas in most of the season. I've never said that I thought they were a good team, but I thought they were a very entertaining team. This is the game that's more representative of the Cowboys experience that's become tiresome, I imagine, not just to us in the national world, but if you're a Cowboys fan, because there's the Jerry Jones side of it too. Jerry Jones does media before this game. Was it with Stephen A. Smith, Justin?
The Stephen A. Smith Show on Sirius XM recorded live in front of an audience in Dallas. Michael Irvin and DeMarcus Ware were also there.
So here's the thing, Mark, and this is what I want to tee it up like this, because Jerry assumed they were going to win tonight. Jera always thinks the Cowboys are going to win. And in Jera's mind, as he's doing this interview, when he's talking about the trade deadline and he's being cute in Jera ways and winking and having fun with it, he's thinking we're going to win a game tonight. We're going to be 4-4, trade deadline. We're going to have something lined up and everyone's going to be into the Cowboys. But it doesn't quite work when you get your ass kicked that night. But this is what Jerry sounded like before the game, talking about a potential big move for the Cowboys ahead of the trade deadline.
Trade deadline.
Tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Yes, it is.
Right.
And so time is nigh. A lot of action going on right now in terms of trading. And we certainly have made a trade, and we may make a couple of more trades before that deadline.
So you may make a couple of trades before the trade deadline?
Well, we've made one.
All right, you've made one. And what was that for?
And we possibly could make 2 more, and I'm going to wait and let you read about that.
He's hammered.
When we send the papers in tomorrow.
Okay.
Wait, Justin, did you even add the tumbler in? Like that? He literally sounds 3 sheets to the wind. We made fucking trades already. We made a trade and another one's coming. 2 more coming. Like, you're the owner of the NFL Cowboys. Mark, that's a wild way to go into this game. But it's the idea of the Cowboys being more flash than substance in a nutshell. That and then this game.
Yeah, you're right. I think he thought tonight would be a towering kind of crowning home win in a strange Cowboy season. He's a man of the stage. He's almost like a student of like Stella Adler at this point, with what he's able to pull off with the voices, the caricature, the promises, and the buffoonery and the circus act. It's all rolled into one. And then they go get their behinds kicked, like in a massive way, by a team that no one regards as special. That's the Cowboys experience. It's stage, it's fluff, it's very little substance. And even though you have a quarterback who is an MVP candidate, it all falls apart in one night.
Yeah, and speaking of more flash than substance, Jera also acknowledged his need and adoration of the spotlight in that same interview.
The Dallas Cowboys probably have the kind of interest that we have, in no small part because we stay out front and we stay controversial. When it gets slow, I stir that shit up. Fact.
Literally, he said
Fact. Fact. Does that sound like anybody I know?
Sound a little familiar.
Okay.
Sound a little familiar.
My point.
So in other words, you'll love you or you'll hate you, but you'll never be bored with you.
Well, my point is, I just want to be relevant. I just want you to be over here looking at us.
I mean, if there is a quote that encapsulates like the problem with the Dallas Cowboys, it's right there. In fact, if I would have heard this quote, I would have done everything in my power to try to switch my lock away from the Cowboys, because it seemed fated at that point what was going to happen. And it's funny, like they talked about those quotes to Stephen A. Smith, and you see Stephen A. Smith sitting with Jerry at one point in the booth, and then they go down 2 scores, and Jerry's like, or Stephen A. Smith's like, "Bro, I'm out of here."
It was like 8 minutes into the game or something.
And then when Joe Buck teases notes the what he said about the trades that have been made and more that will be being announced tomorrow, Troy Aikman, always notable when Troy talks tough about the Cowboys, added this little aside.
Yeah, he may want to cancel that trade. I don't think one player from what I've seen tonight is going to make a difference for this group.
Yeah. I mean, the defense was non-competitive in this game, Mark. And like the trade, obviously, of Micah Parsons, we'll see the big picture of it. But in the here and now, they're non-competitive. And going to find a lesser version of Micah Parsons or adding somebody to the secondary after Deron Bland got absolutely humiliated by Marvin Harrison Jr. all game, but especially on that goal line touchdown where I don't think I've ever seen a guy get juked like that. This team has so many problems that you just have to, at a certain point, make the smart move for the future. But it sounds like Jera has no intention of doing that. It's a tricky time in Dallas.
And as Justin pointed out to us right here in our chat, that like, Jerry Jones spent a lot of that interview trying to defend the Micah trade as well. And he's been spending months doing that. And like, whether that was a win or a loss for the Cowboys, we'll see down the road, depending on who they draft and what the draft picks lead to. But it's just a bad football team. It's just a very average football team that at best has dipped into being a fun watch on offense. But they're completely faulty, and we see the end line at some point here. And it's another year of Jerry Jones talking more than producing. And at some point, like, to me, I guess I can be entertained by that. But I don't think it's entertaining in terms of the next time we see a Dallas Cowboys 5-part documentary. About what? What is it about now? There's no story right now. This is a crumbling ship and a poorly run organization in terms of being a real factor in the NFC.
Yeah, it's almost like Nate Bargatze, the comedian, has a really good bit in one of his stand-up specials where he talks about there's a point when you, as a child or whatever, or as a full-grown adult, you grow up with your parents raising you, and then you hit a stage where all of a sudden you are looking after your parents, right? And they're no longer in charge. And he tells the story of like him and his dad went to like a Home Depot, and they parked the car. Nate's driving. He parks the car. They get out and start walking towards the Home Depot, and he looks back, and Dad didn't close the passenger door when he got out. And right. He's like, "Yep, Dad can't be in charge no more." Like, that's how I feel about Jerry. Jerry's leaving the door open. The Cadillac door is swung wide open. He's wandering around. There's a jingle jangle in his tumbler, and the Cowboys might not be a serious contender until he's no longer at the helm. I don't know. Like, it's not. We don't mean to just dwell on Jerry Jones on this night of a Cowboys loss, but it did feel particularly
he makes it that way
to tie it together on a night like tonight with the things he says and the effort of the team.
He forces us to do that because he is unwilling to get out of the spotlight. There aren't many owners in sports you could even compare to him. Like, it is a narcissistic, attention-seeking, spotlight-needing individual who doesn't understand that he's becoming more and more irrelevant in terms of production.
I like having him around still, though. But if I was a Cowboys fan, as a podcast host, love him.
Right.
If I was a Cowboys fan, I probably wouldn't feel the same way. And yes,
Little peaked. Yeah.
I'm learning my manifesto, my Locks manifesto. Never get behind a team with a truly terrible defense, because games like this happen. Cowboys are going to play more fun games this year, by the way. We could say about, they're crumbling and all this. Like, I don't think the Cowboys are now going to lose out. I think they'll continue to be a bit of a roller coaster when they have those really good offensive days and the defense played a little better than it did tonight. And I think they're going to hang around in this race. I still think they're going to win around 8 or 9 games potentially here, but that's not good enough. Like, they're just
agree with
spinning
you.
their wheels.
I don't think they're. I'm not saying they're like It just feels a little circusy and a little needless. But you're right. They're an 8-win, 9-win team, 7-win team. One of those things.
All right, let's take a break and we'll hit some news and then the power rankings.
All right, you know that feeling when you open your phone bill, and think, how is this even possible? I've been there. That's why I finally switched to Mint Mobile, and now I'm wondering why I didn't do it a lot sooner. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no, Dan.
Absolutely, Mark. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. I said yes to premium wireless for just $15 a month, and it's been awesome. Mint Mobile gives you high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. You could bring your own phone, keep your number, and move over your contacts. It's quick, it's easy, it's painless.
It's here's the thing. Like, I got my Mint Mobile wireless service in comparison to the old provider I had, and it was so much better. The savings are better. It's just like, what was I doing for the past number of years? And honestly, the service has been every bit as strong as my old provider, just without the bloated price tag. I'm saving real money every month, and I don't feel like I'm missing a thing.
I've picked that up. I feel like you've been a better person, Mark, since your mobile plan changed. So
it translates.
Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/heed the call. That's mintmobile.com/heed the call.
Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Yeah. By the way, welcome back. Before we get to the news, it always strikes me as a little bit odd, speaking of the Monday Night Football coverage. Like, what figures that have a checkered past are kind of eradicated and are no longer discussed or seen as black sheep in terms of conversation, and then who kind of avoids it? Like Marvin Harrison Sr., at one point there is an extended conversation around Marvin Harrison Jr. and Marvin Harrison Sr. and Senior. Oh, I bet Senior's watching this game. Oh, he's enjoying this game. And they talk about the Senior quotes recently in an ESPN profile where he said, I wouldn't be in Canton if I was playing on this Cardinals team. And I'm like, does anybody remember what happened with Marvin Harrison Sr. involving a bar that he owned and a shooting that potentially connected to him, although it was never proven, and then a witness from that shooting ending up dead nearby from one of his establishments, and again, that one being a little murky.
Those couldn't have been connected.
And it was never connected to him or legally. He never was charged or prosecuted, but then they pulled him over for a traffic stop, and they found a gun, and the gun maybe had something to do with the cases, and that didn't. And there was a lot of, I don't mean to use the pun here. There's a lot of smoke right here around a lot of gun smoke around Marvin Harrison Sr. But I guess he's not sitting in a prison, so we kind of just brushed it all off. But that was a pretty harrowing. Do a little deep dive on Marvin Harrison's legal issues, and I don't know. He's not like the warmest figure for me to talk like the father-son angle on a Monday Night Football game. I guess.
I think you're right. They're counting on the fact that most people won't do that deep dive or know what you know about that or forget about that just because of it's from a long time ago. I mean, I spent 20 years watching Ray Lewis being like, okay, cool, Ray Lewis. Like, I wonder what you got up to on that little night where everything was apparently just brushed under the rug because you're Ray Lewis. It's like, I don't know. How do we decide who we drop the hammer on here? Apparently it's not these players.
Yeah. And again, to be clear, Harrison Sr. was never prosecuted for any of this stuff, but it was just a lot around him. In April 2008, Harrison Sr. was implicated in a Philadelphia car wash altercation where he allegedly fired multiple shots, wounding the primary victim and a bystander. No charges were filed after an investigation, though a key witness was fatally shot near Harrison's bar in July 2009. Like, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Also crazy. Trade deadline. Jarrah talked about it. Now we're going to talk about it. In fact, we're going to do a live stream tomorrow, Tuesday, right as we're going to do a live stream. We're going to do a live stream. Oh, Christ. Mark.
Well,
the producer is incorrigible.
And we've got 12 boys playing trumpet for this show.
Young
so
boys.
Yeah.
Cherubic Angels. We will be doing a live stream on Tuesday on YouTube at the trade deadline, which is 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, a different time if you're overseas that you could figure out. But we'd love for you to join us as well. Justin, you want to find out what time it is in, let's say, London at exactly 4 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah. I just got some breaking news alert on my phone about Jerry Jones, and I thought it would be interesting.
Okay, we'll get to that. But just first, find out the London thing. But anyway, live stream, we're going to jump on. It's going to be me, Mark, Connor, Justin, maybe a guest or two, depending on anything big time goes on, and we'll give you a little update on everything that happened on trade deadline Tuesday. It's 9 p.m. in London. And then we'll have some more fun. We'll do a nice full show tomorrow, Tuesday. So you'll get your second show of the week a little earlier than usual. And we hope you're there with us. Get involved in the chat. Maybe we'll find a way to involve people in a live capacity. Mark, what do you think about that idea?
I think it's a great idea. We are news people at heart. We were news editors and writers before we started to do this. And if you agree, smash that like button. I think that's what you were trying to get me to go at some point.
Oh, sassy. Look at you.
Smash
How about subscribe?
that like button.
We're trying to hit that 26.5 marker as well. So here is Justin. You want to share the update that you've the breaking
news
Jerry
update.
I don't know how much more Jerry Jones our audience needs to hear in this particular episode, but we're going to trust your news instinct. The grave digger.
It's just a funny update to the conversation we just had. Because every owner does like a post-game media scrum. Oh, no, wait, that's just Jerry Jones.
Right.
Jerry Jones said the trade he referred to pregame has not been finalized, and he still has a decision to make. He indicated he was more likely than not to complete the transaction, but is now deciding because the game went not to his liking if he's actually going to do it.
Absurd.
Wait, he indicated he was more likely than not to complete the transaction. He said it, this is from Ed Werder. He said it couldn't be done today, and both sides agreed not to speak publicly about it in detail. I would think the other team wasn't expecting you to go on the radio and say a deal was already done. That's a guess. Just a total guess. And if I'm the other team, I might be like, you know what? I need you to throw in an extra second-round pick now.
Right.
Otherwise you're going to have to explain why there was no trade.
A lot of action going on right now in terms of trading, and we certainly have made a trade.
Jerry, shut up, dude.
We certainly have made a trade.
It's so unnecessary. What are you doing, bud?
I like it more and more by the minute, though.
Oh, man. All right, let's do some news. Can you play that again? I mean, they have to start slapping it like a TV M mature rating on these Romo Patrick Mahomes Chiefs games. They're hypersexual.
That made me uncomfortable.
Super carnal.
Yeah.
It's like in 1994, 1 a.m., you flip on Cinemax and, Body of Evidence starring Madonna's on. Like, it's like, you're in for a different type of night. And that's how I feel like now when I watch a Chiefs game that Romo's calling. It's like there's going to be some wet, some hot wax being dripped on nipples. And it's Tony Romo's nipples.
To say the least.
Yeah.
It's well, depending on your point of view, that's exactly what's going to happen to the nipples. So sure.
Oh! All right. Bummer. Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels jacked up his elbow, down 100 points on Sunday Night Football late in the game. We talked about it a little bit on Sunday after it happened, minutes after it happened, and what we thought about it. Should he have been in the game? Should he have not been in the game? It's an easy thing to kill the head coach for, obviously, when something catastrophic happens. And we still don't know the extent of Daniel's injury. We know it's a dislocated elbow. We know it's something he's going to be missing at least the next Commanders game, but don't be surprised if his season's over. It has that type of range of outcomes. Anyway, Dan Quinn, to his credit, Quinn didn't run from this. He didn't hide from it. He didn't get cantankerous with reporters about it. He owned it, that he struggles with the decision he made and what happened as a result.
I know many of you have been asking about the thought process of Jaden being in the game in that situation. I get that. I've been thinking about it, honestly, nonstop too. And, for me, the answer is, man, I missed it. But I would, I'll fill you in on my thought process. At the start of the fourth quarter, I guess it was probably like 12 and a half minutes left in the game. And that was going to be the last drive for a couple of guys, Jaden and Zach and Debo and LT. And so we're going to have any read run plays and meaning no carries, for the quarterback on a run. And honestly, man, that's where I missed it. Of course he could scramble. It's Jaden. It's what he's special at. And that is 100% that's on me.
Well, Dan Quinn, we've had the chance to meet him in person and stuff. And Dan Quinn is the opposite of some of the people we've discussed on this show tonight. He's a straight shooter, and I buy that they probably were going to yank players at some point, but I think it's just a problem of timing, because putting together a drive or two that was productive, that made their offense feel like they completed something, would have been beneficial to him. But it's I can't point the finger at Dan Quinn here, and I don't know why anyone would. It just happened, right? We're watching 14 to 15 people go down with grisly injuries per day, and this just occurred. It wasn't Dan Quinn's terrible decision. I just don't see it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's you could certainly make the case that you should have been out of the game for sure. But Quinn said, I thought that was interesting what he said there. They actually did change the playbook, and they were taking out things that were going to put him in harm's way, but that didn't account for what if he leaves the pocket on his own. So not that he was throwing Daniels under the bus, but also, maybe it's a teaching moment for Jaden Daniels too. It's don't put yourselves in harm's way.
Right.
Protect yourself, especially in that situation when the game is lost. It's just a hard lesson for everyone involved. Speaking of difficult situations, Kevin Stefanski, he's starting to get into the danger zone, it feels like, as the Cleveland Browns head coach. What are one of the lever flips when a head coach is in trouble? You can fire a coordinator. You could shake up the staff. You could bench a quarterback. You could also, if you're an offensive coach, you could hand over play calling duties. That's another move where you're just trying to mix things up and show that you're changing, whether you're showing it to the team or showing it to the fans or the owner. Look, I'm trying different things. He hands over play calling duties to offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. Here's Stefanski on that decision.
Other thing on play calling, I'm going to have Tommy call the plays on offense. These are things that I'm always looking at. What can we do better? I have a ton of trust and faith in Tommy. He's more than capable. So excited for him. But bottom line is we have to just get better collectively.
And somewhat relatedly is Dylan Gabriel struggles as a rookie passer with Shedeur Sanders and witness protection somewhere on this roster with Deshaun Watson, wherever Deshaun Watson is. Joe Flacco's not here anymore because Stefanski or the Browns or someone with the Browns decided to trade Flacco in the division, and he's kicking monstrous amounts of ass for the Bengals, and he was asked about that as well.
I understand what you have to defend your own roster. But when you see what Joe Flacco's doing down there in Cincinnati, even if you're not watching the game, throwing touchdown passes all over the field to Chase, and what do you think when you couldn't put those numbers up with the receivers you have here?
Yeah, I don't really have a comment on Joe or any players on other teams. I don't think it's appropriate.
The results are so contrasting.
Yeah, I understand the question, but I really don't have a comment.
What do you take out of that, Mark?
I think you said it correctly that it feels like Stefanski, a two-time coach of the year, is finally being dipped into a territory where I'm not sure what the future is here. I see or feel or sense a genuine split between the coaching staff, or I would say Stefanski, and the front office. I don't think Stefanski wanted to trade Joe Flacco away at all. I don't think it was his decision.
I mean, that answer seems to really indicate that. Like, I don't want to talk about that. Yeah.
I think he's been hamstrung verbally dating back to the trade for Deshaun Watson, where he's been a good company man. I think he's a good coach. This staff had Mike Vrabel on it a year ago. This team, and I get that we are in a room with Jets, Titans, and Browns fans. So we could play fiddles all night long about whose team is the bigger disaster.
Sounds fun.
The future is grim here. I don't know what the future is for Stefanski. He gave up play calling a year ago to a different play caller. He's doing it again. You start to run out of scapegoats. And this is a terrible football team. There's no vision here. And from every angle you look at, what's worse than no vision is there's very little hope.
Doesn't it feel like, too, and when you're a fan of one of these teams, you could just see it coming from a mile away that a year from now, he'll be the head coach in Cincinnati or Las Vegas or, name the city, right? Arizona, wherever, and that team will be thriving and he'll have a lot of wind at his back again, and everybody's going to say he's one of the sharpest offensive minds in the sport, and everyone will be laughing at the Browns. It's just like certain things with these type of teams, and there's only a few of them, and we root for two of them, maybe the two worst when it comes to this, and the Titans maybe aren't far behind.
I think it's happening with Mike Vrabel right now in the Titans, but yes, continue.
There you go.
You are correct.
You could kind of just see it coming. That he has a second act coming, not with the Browns, just like Baker Mayfield, just like Sam Darnold in Seattle, just like this person, that person, and the next person, Mike Vrabel in New England, and you could just see it coming.
You know what it is, too? It's not it's a team, it's just bad luck. Bad things happen to this team, and it's inexplicable. It is bad and shameful decisions. They've made bad and shameful decisions, some of the worst decisions in pro football over the last 20 years. And it comes home to roost for each of these teams that do this, that fail to build talent and develop their own quarterbacks and their own players. And they go elsewhere and they thrive because where they were, Cleveland, New York, Tennessee, disaster zones. And I'm a little, it's at this point, you've got to watch and observe and discuss and talk about football with no regard for your own enjoyment from the team that you began following many years ago. None of that factors in. I will not enjoy my team, and I get it, for years to come.
It is like a crazy, crazy thing about, and again, here we're going to be comparing battle scars again, but you've had a couple playoff teams since we started this job. Since we started this podcast, the Jets have never made the playoffs and almost in every season except for one. Their season was usually over by Halloween, right? And it's like it's weird to be doing our job as long as we've done it and feel like the team that you ostensibly like got you into the sport that you cover for a living isn't really in the league. Like that's how it feels.
It is a different sport watching these teams. Yes.
All right. In other news, listen, they're the team of Heed the Call. We understand that. Like we support them wholeheartedly, the Denver Broncos. That said, Sean Payton being the face, Mark, of this hypothetical team of HTC is problematic in that Sean Payton, it seems like a dick. And then when a head coach with this much ego, and to his credit, he has a resume of success, and it's helped feed that ego and made him feel bulletproof. And then you put him on a team that's 7-2, leading a team that's 7-2, and has won 6 straight. And when he sees James Palmer during the summer, and James Palmer's on the show next week, by the way, can't wait. But when he sees James Palmer, he walks up to him with a big grin and he says, "I love this team, Jimmy." He's riding high, and that means watch out, because if you say something or anything to him, he's liable to get on your ass, especially if you're a media member. So we've played some Peyton dissing the media already this season, and it happened again when a reporter named Luca Evans asked him a question that Sean Payton didn't want to hear.
Luca Evans, the Denver Post.
Yeah, Sean, just wanted to go back when you talked about the special teams issues, and you were saying, yesterday we have to get that cleaned up, or we'll find someone else that can do it. Are you referring to personnel there, or are you referring to coaching?
Evan, if you were paying attention, I'm referring to players that aren't on the field that need to be. All right. Coaching is outstanding. All right. We'll get that cleaned up. My point is, if there's 10 in the field and there's supposed to be 11, all right, then that player that's supposed to be out there, I'll find someone else to do his job. Is that crystal clear?
Yep. My name is Luca. Also.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. I got love for Luca Evans, who had the guts to correct Sean Payton, and then for Sean Payton not to be like, "Oh, sorry about that," because it's you're just a football coach. You're not a god. It doesn't really matter what you're talking about. Just FYI. But for him to go, "Oh, okay, perfect."
Perfect. I also liked the out of the gate, though, the Evan, like.
There's some quad box material in this one, Justin. Let's confer.
How smarmy can one be?
He is just too much. And Connor has said he's been sitting on an atomic bomb that he wants to share on the show. And he said as we were watching the game tonight, he said, one more thing has to happen, and he's going to let it all loose on the show. So just let's all cross our fingers that whatever threshold Connor has deemed, whatever that line in the sand, that Sean crosses it soon, because that will be great for our program.
This is our Oppenheimer, yes.
All right, real quick, injury updates. Yes, Packers tight end Tucker Kraft did tear his ACL in Sunday's loss to the Panthers. He was leading the Packers in receiving yards and touchdowns, so he's having a real breakout season. That sucks, and it's more bad news for a Green Bay team that seems a little bit off its center right now. Equally crushing news, maybe even more so for the Los Angeles Chargers, that ankle injury that Joe Alt suffered, not just basic high ankle sprain, "I'll see you in a few weeks." No, his season's over. He needs surgery on that ankle. So this Chargers team that went into 2025, the envy of the National Football League, to have Rashawn Slater on the left, to have Joe Alt on the right, arguably the best tackles at their respective positions in the whole league. And by November 3rd, both of them are ancient history, and maybe with it, any hopes of the Chargers making a Super Bowl run. It's going to be really difficult without both of those guys.
These are both devastating injuries, because I think that Kraft was becoming the centerpiece of that passing game, and someone that you take him out and they're just a much easier team to defend. He was dominant against the Steelers 2 weeks ago. And we've seen what happened when Joe Alt was not in the lineup for the Chargers. So it's two teams that you are forced to look at differently. I do feel like in the last couple of weeks, and we'll get into our power rankings, but like every pretty good team that I felt hopeful about have suffered injuries, losses, defeat from multiple angles where it's like, who's great here at this point? Compromised across the board.
It's a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's so true. It really is a war of attrition. I mean, and who can duck the raindrops and not lose, the players that they absolutely need, the Jenga pieces, as Dave Damashek puts it, to a roster. And Slater and Alt were major Jenga pieces to everything that the Chargers were hoping for, and they're both gone for the year. So that's crazy. We talked about how great the Bills looked on defense against the Chiefs, and they did it without Ed Oliver because he suffered the biceps injury the previous week, and he's out indefinitely. And they were able to get by without Oliver. Now they lose another piece of their defensive line. Michael Hoyt tore his Achilles in the win over the Chiefs, so he's out for the year. So look for the Bills to maybe address that at the trade deadline. Or even before. The Commanders linebacker Frankie Louvu suspended 1 game for his 3rd hip drop tackle of the season. Come on, buddy. By the way, Marshawn Lattimore, in addition to the Jaden Daniels injury, Lattimore, who I know has been a disappointment in Washington, but he tore his ACL in that game too. I mean, you want to talk about just a snake bit
season. Their season is over.
The Commanders, it just turn the page because sometimes it's just not happening for you. And finally, Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud remains in concussion protocol. He's feeling a bit better, D'Amico Ryan said about Stroud. We'll see how he goes and if he's able to play the guitar in Week 10. And finally, a trade. Miami is trading edge rusher Jaelan Phillips to the Eagles in exchange for a 2026 third-round pick. That's pretty high value for this type of deal. I believe Phillips is going to be a free agent after this year, and this is the 3rd trade mark the Eagles have made in the past week. They've also added cornerback Jair Alexander, who had fallen deep on the depth chart in his previous stay, and cornerback Michael Carter from the Jets.
The Jaelan Phillips thing to me feels like, oh, this is just going to work for the Eagles. Like, I think I like him as a player a lot. In Miami, when we do this show tomorrow, what team might be the biggest seller? I thought the Cleveland was a big seller candidate. Miami feels like they're going to be selling a lot of players. All
right, let's take a break, and when we get back, power rankings check-in. All right, Mark, Bob's Discount Furniture. This is a product that I love because I don't like to leave my home at this stage of my life. I like to be hunkered down, batten down the hatches, and just cozy up, especially this time of year. So this is the place for me to get everything I need to never have to see anyone else.
I'm with you. And, at Bob's Discount Furniture, let's be real, you can get high-quality furniture in the latest styles for a fraction of what you'd pay at other furniture stores. They've got power reclining sofas, love it, with all the bells and whistles, hidden cup holders, we need that, right? Bluetooth speakers, even lights that sync with your music. One thing that I love is that they do bundles, so you can bundle a sofa and a love seat, or bundle a 4-piece bedroom set and save even more money. It's called Bundle and Save at Bob's, Dan.
For sure, Mark. And I feel like people sleep on Bob's because they hear discount and they think it's cheap furniture. But no, I can attest. I have these 2 beautiful chairs, these outdoor chairs that me and my wife just sit on, and we say, this is as far as we're going to get to off our property right now. And we just have a nice glass of wine together. We enjoy it, and it's firm, and it is not going anywhere. We know we're going to have this chairs forever. Bob's buys directly from the manufacturers, so you can save all that cash. They don't do sales. It's everyday low prices all year long, so you always know what you're going to get. See how much you can save in store or at mybobs.com.
Unless you've got power!
Farbuck.
With great power comes great responsibility.
They got powers, yeah!
Then when you get the money, you get the power.
Category orange incident.
The power behind the power.
Wow, you're playing with power.
According to Dan Hanzus' power ranking.
Yes, the official power rankings of Record, the Heed the Call power rankings compiled. It's a group effort. The Zuzzer, the Quiet Storm, the Gravedigger, and yes, Mr. Connor Orr. Does Connor have a nickname?
The Con Man.
The Con Man. The Con Man. So we all come up with our list of 32. Justin does his magic behind the scenes. We trust him implicitly to get it right. And then we take it from there.
Only had a couple of on-air issues this season. I think it's going pretty well.
Pretty well on balance. And you know what? I haven't heard from Farbuck either. So I feel like things have been quiet, and quiet is good. Let's, without further ado, let's check in. The way we do it, we break it down into 4 sectors. The first sector is where you want your team to be. Tier
Sector.
1. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with sector?
I don't know. It just cracks me up.
Yeah, let me look that up.
Farbuck has personal problems too. He'll disappear for weeks at a time,
older.
and then
he's getting older.
Farbuck.
I think it's an age-related decline with Farbuck, but he might be a little bit of an oddball too. I've known him for many years.
Yeah,
he always seemed a little bit, left of center. A sector is an area or portion that is distinct from others. Come on, bro.
Okay. I'm not saying it was incorrect. It's a spicy word in my world. It makes me think of other things.
What could it possibly make you think of?
Well, it feels space age, or it feels sort of science fiction, like a sector.
Okay.
So,
all right, I like it. Okay, the Bills are number 1. They displaced the Kansas City Chiefs. Is this the first time the Bills have been number 1 in our rankings, Justin? Probably not. Maybe earlier in the season they were, but
I will check on that.
Okay. I actually don't think they have been, because we had the Eagles for the first 3 or 4 weeks, and I don't know if the Bills ever snuck in, but let's check in on that. The Bills, I had them at 1, Mark had them at 1, Justin had them at 1, Connor had them at 2, up 3 spots. Number 2 in the power rankings with a bullet, the Seattle Seahawks. I had them at 2, Mark at 2, Connor at 1, the best team in football, and Justin at 2. So we were almost in lockstep with our top 2, but Connor had his Bills and Seahawks flipped. Number 3.
Before you move on, Bills were the number 1 team in our power rankings after week 1.
Oh, right. Because you guys didn't follow the law of respecting the Super Bowl champion that I do. Okay.
And that was the only time. Then it was Eagles for a while, then it was
Right.
Chiefs, and now
I think that's when Farbuck came out of the woodwork to lash us potentially that week.
That was one of the things early on, yeah. All right. So anyway, the Chiefs dropped to number 3, 2 spots. I had them down at 5. Mark had them at 3. Connor had them at 5. Justin at 4. The Rams, they're just like chopping wood. I got to respect the Rams. I feel like they've probably been the most consistent team in our power rankings this year. They've probably been in this tier, if not the whole season, pretty much the whole season. I have them at number 3. Mark has them down at 7, a little disrespectful, I think. Connor at 4, Justin at 3. Why down at 7, barely in the tier? Like, what have the Rams done other than relentlessly win and do it with consistency and a balance that many teams strive for?
Not out of disrespect. I don't really disagree with what you said about them, but we've got like the Detroits and the Eagles of the world down there
I see what's
below
happening.
them, and I just view them as a little more battle-tested and real.
I see what's happening here. Yeah. I know. I see what's happening. You're retroactively trying to gas up the Patriots now. I see what's happening. Okay, we'll get to it. Let's see. The Lions drop 2 spots to 5. The Eagles on a bye move up 2 spots. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You're asking for trouble with Farbuck. I kept them at 7 in my rankings. Mark, you have them at 5. Connor has them at 3. Wow. And Justin at 7. The Colts dropped 5 spots after that humbling loss to the Steelers. There's Mark again, just that flighty boyfriend in and out of his partner's lives, immediately jumping ship, drops him all the way down to number 9. I can't with you, Sessler. You fall in love with these teams, and they have one bad week, and you're packing up your stuff in the middle of the night, and you're leaving town. It's just like with not even a Dear John letter, not even a Dear Mark letter. Like, you don't even have the Colts in tier 1 anymore after you were saying that they were number 1 for like a month.
I feel things and they disappointed me, but I wouldn't categorize myself as a flighty
Dear John,
boyfriend.
By the time you read this note, I'll be gone. Dear John. Remember that Judd Hirsch sitcom of the 80s?
I watched a lot of episodes of that show.
That didn't sound like Taylor Swift, but okay.
Okay,
No,
I get it. I get that. That was a millennial take on things. Yes. And the Patriots. I have them at 8. They come in at 8. I had them at 8. Connor had them at 8. Justin had them at 9. And Mark, he said, I'm late to the party, but now I want to get to the front of the line. So he moves them all the way up to 6. That's predictable as well.
Well, you know what? The discussion is never you saying, "Oh, what if perhaps I've misjudged where this team is?" It's always, "Mark, you're rash, you're out of control." It's like, no, I'm not.
The Patriots in particular, I was ahead of the pack on the Patriots on this show. I was giving them props before other people this season. But now I see what you're doing. Like, all of a sudden, you went from having them at 14 in the power rankings. Like, now I'm going to put them at 6. After what? After they barely hung on against the Falcons at home, you're going to jump them up? Like, come on.
I think they're growing. They're developing. They're becoming a problem.
Yeah, we all agree with that. I just see what you're doing. I'm watching you. Tier 2. Got my eye on you, Cess Dog. The Broncos. All right, there we go. I like that we're kind of in lockstep on a lot of these. Broncos at 9. They stay where they were last week. The Bucks on a bye. They actually move up into the top 10. The Niners. The Niners keep winning, and they move up one spot to 11. Here's the Packers. The Packers, and I think this is good what we did here. We knocked them all the way down to 12. A 6-spot drop. I would imagine that's close to the most. The biggest drop of the week, Justin. If not, it's in the neighborhood.
Second most.
Okay, the second biggest drop of the week is the Packers. The Cowboys probably free-falled after that game. But okay, we're gonna find out. But Mark, it's not just that Tucker Kraft is out for the year. It's now this has been going on for more than a month now, where the Packers are just not overly impressive. And these other teams are finding themselves, these true elite teams, and you sense these teams coming together. And you don't sense that with the Packers, do you?
No, I even had them at 10, which was a little bit higher than you guys, who had them all at 12. I'm disappointed by them, and you can kind of feel them floating away, and they're unpredictable in a way that I don't enjoy. And so, sitting at 12, which is a fringe playoff team, that's where you belong to sit.
I put him at my number 13 spot, and that's the twilight zone for me when I don't know what to do with the team. So I just stick him there and just forget about it for a week, because I think that's exactly where the Packers exist right now. It's hard to understand who they are. The actual number 13 spot is the Steelers. Now, I'm going to say this about the Steelers. I hear they stay at 13, and that doesn't seem fair. And I understand that doesn't seem fair. Because if you're a Steelers fan, you said you guys have been slurping on the Colts for 2 months, and we go and we kick their ass in, and you won't even move us up. This is what I'll say to that. Because I had him at 14, Mark 13, Connor 13, Justin 13. What they did is, you're not going to see it this week, but they closed a very big gap between 12 and 13.
Yes, I agree.
It used to be, going into this week, the Steelers were 13, but you know what? They were they weren't close to the top 12. Now they're right there. And if they now can put together another week, Mark, where they look good and succeed again, you're going to see them make a march up the board. So it's one of those wins that might take a little more time to show up in these rankings.
That was said in a way that suggests that you have power rankings experience dating back for many years, because you're right. That gap is different. And I do see the Steelers a little differently after that win, but they're hard for me to shoot up the board. But not if they keep doing this, because maybe they just win in a way that we're not used to in 2025, and that's okay.
Well, and let's take a look at their upcoming schedule. They're at Chargers on Sunday Night Football. So that's another big island game. They're playing a lot of island games, I feel like. And to make another statement, you win that island game in Los Angeles, you're moving into the top 10. After that, home against Bengals, at Chicago, home versus Bills, at Ravens. So we're going to find out. We'll find out where the Steelers actually sit in this thing, because the schedule will test them. They're just ahead of the Chargers. I didn't see this Joe Alt out for the year thing before I sent in my picks. Honestly, I had him at number 10 in my rankings. I'd probably dropped him a couple spots had I known that, because that's a huge loss. But you guys picked up the slack there. You have him at 14, Connor 15, Justin 14. So they sit at 14 in the power rankings. Let's see what Justin Herbert could do. The Bears stay at 15. The Ravens up one spot to 16. So we got an eye on the Ravens, and they move into tier 2. Tier 3. The Ravens moving into tier 2. That's smart. We're taking a look at it. We're gonna continue to lock in on them. The Vikings make a big jump. They're up 5 spots. J.J. McCarthy's successful return to the lineup, and we're in lockstep between 17 and 18. Everyone. The Panthers also up 5 spots. We're starting to buy in a little bit after they shot Green Bay. They move up to number 18. The Jaguars. We're all in lockstep here too. We have collectively the Jaguars at 19, up 2 spots. The Falcons, damn kickers, man. Sergio Romo blows it, and as a result, they are unable to complete. Sergio Parker, excuse me, blows it on the PAT, and they can't upset the Patriots, so they stay at 20. The Cardinals also up 5 spots. Look at that. We have 3 teams up 5 spots in tier 3, making a move. It is the Arizona Cardinals after their resounding win in Dallas tonight. The Texans lose again. A narrow loss to the Broncos, down 3 spots. The quarterback's hurt again. The Cowboys free fall 5 spots after tonight to number 23. Okay, that makes sense. The Washington Commanders down 8 spots to the bottom of tier 3. That's what happens when you keep losing and then you lose your franchise quarterback to a serious elbow injury. Marc Sessler, anything there? That feels like we have that tier pretty much locked in.
I thought we did a good job there as a group.
Eat it, Farbuck.
Yeah, I don't understand what he'd have an issue with unless he's just in a very grumpy mood, because as a group, we showed some self-control there, and we can detect that the season is over for teams like the Commanders. The season is a wrap, so you're gonna go in one direction. It's not going to be up the board.
And that means there's 8 teams left that are below the Commanders in our mind, which means these teams must be down bad. And that's what this year is. There are some bad teams.
Yeah.
Starting with the Bengals, who have, if the Cowboys don't have the worst defense in the league, it's because the Cincinnati Bengals exist, and their defense gets them beat again in heartbreaking fashion, this time to the Bears, so they're down 1 spot to 25. The Giants just keep losing, and that's a problem. Their defense is not playing well either, in addition to all the injuries. They're down 1 spot to 26. The Dolphins stay at 27. The Raiders up 1 spot to 28. The Browns down 1 spot to 29. The Jets on the bye move up a spot. Oh, baby, almost into the 20s. Let's go. The Saints. Now, the Saints, I thought they made a case this week to be marching all the way down to 32. In fact, that's where I put them, as did Connor. But they only dropped 1 spot. And yes, once again, it is the Tennessee Titans bringing up the rear at number 32, same as last week. Congratulations, Justin. And if you look at these rankings, again, it is weird to cover a sport where your favorite team doesn't even feel like it's in the sport. The Browns are 29. The Jets are 30. The Titans are 32. You can't make this shit up.
Nightmare.
I like what you did there with the Saints marching down. That was good. But
thank you very much.
I have to watch the Titans very closely every week. Feels more like an obligation than a passion at this point. And you can't tell me that there's a team. I guess we'll find out in week 17, because these 2 teams play each other. The Titans did trade their best edge rusher today to the Baltimore Ravens, so they're getting worse.
Who would that be?
Draymond Jones, 4.5 sacks in his last 4 games.
Okay. What'd you get for that?
We got a conditional 4th, probably a 5th, maybe a fourth. We'll see.
Okay.
Well, you
Jaelan
fleeced
Phillips
them.
got a third, so why couldn't you get a third?
Well, Jaelan Phillips has an injury history, but he's like a legitimate good edge rusher. Draymond
You
Jones
said
has been,
4.5 sacks in 4 games is pretty damn good for me. I'd be holding out for a 3. Maybe a 2.
Take what you can get right now, Titans.
Like Amy Adams Strunk has no idea what day it is, so that's part of the problem down in Nashville. But
well, she's not making these trades. So.
Well, she
I
certainly
say you
isn't.
pull the trigger, young man, on any trade you see fit.
Have you seen my one-piece suit? I want to go sit in the pool on my floaty chair.
You know, the one with all the flowers on it. You know, I like the wild flowers
Push
on
me
my
around a
one-piece
little.
suit. Push me around in my kidney-shaped pool, always heated to 93. Because I guess I'm just a hot-blooded gal.
It's like, did you say I owned a football team? I didn't know that.
What's football? Just kidding. I love football. Where's that Mike Vrabel? He's a tasty treat.
I love those football players. Have them come on over to the pool.
All of a sudden, she's Blanche Devereaux from Golden Girls. All right. That's it. Reminder, again, live stream tomorrow, trade deadline, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. in London. Be there or be square. Mark, any final words?
If you don't join our live show, we will find you and you will pay the price.
Oh, baby, I feel like we're in the dungeon in Hollywood again.
Well, I'm just saying, you've been warned.
Some of our listeners like that. It's like ASMR, you know? Sessler Dungeon Talk.
I can't prevent their liking that. It's up to them. It's your choice.
All right, everybody, have a great Tuesday and beyond. We'll see you before you know it. Till next time, do what you must. Heed the call.